Hey everybody, today's class is going to be on endurance, and not endurance in the way that you would think of like running a race and going as hard as you can for as long as you can. More along the lines of enduring a hold or enduring a hard plank or a big stretch that doesn't necessarily feel fantastic, but we're going to stay there and we're going to let it do good things to our body, because you do have to endure things on a daily basis that you may or may not want to do. So once you are ready, we'll get started seated, and we'll just have our shoulders roll back, and we're going to take our head down, chin to the chest, just let everything fall. Bring the hands behind the head and pull that chin towards your chest, and just let your body kind of round forward. 3 breaths here. Let's come back up, bring your hands back down. We'll take your legs over to one side and then take a big stretch over to the other side, looking down at that bottom forearm. Let's come back up, stretch the other way. And come back through center. Take your legs over to the other side. Take that hand down, bend onto the forearm, stretch over. And then reach that hand back to the ceiling, stretch the other way. And come back up. Now let's find ourselves on our knees. You're going to tuck your toes under. So the knees are down, toes are under, and hold here, rolling those shoulders back, looking forward. Gaze is nice and easy. This is one of those that may not feel fantastic, but we're going to stay here and just let the feet stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back, untuck the toes, push the hips forward, head up, look up. That feels good. Maybe you want to take it a step further. Maybe tuck the toes back under and bring the hands to the ankles. And then maybe let the head go and hold your breath for 3 minutes. 3 breaths, sorry. Easily come back up. Take your hands down, walk your knees back until you feel like they're underneath you. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Draw the belly in and tuck the toes so that the tops of the feet are down. Lift the knees up, holding here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more. Rolling over the toes or getting there however you need to. Come into a downward dog. See if you can push one heel down, bend the other knee, and hold here. Take it over to the other side and hold. Now see if we can take both heels down, maybe finding the earth, holding there. We're trying to do about 3 breaths in every position. Looking forward, bring the shoulders over the wrist. If you need to take your knees down here, you can. Otherwise, stay up in this plank. 3 breaths. Shoulders away. Make sure your form is good. If your form starts to fail, take your knees down. Turn your heels to one side, reach one arm up and over, holding here, letting your legs cross, letting your ear go. Reach that hand back up, find the mat. Take it straight onto that other side, reach the other arm up, feet are crossed, lift the rib cage, lengthen that arm over. Bring it back into the plank, and we'll come down onto the forearms for a forearm plank, holding here. Pushing shoulder blades away from each other. Neck is long. Turning to one side, reach that arm up and over, again lifting the hips up, holding here. Breathing deep, even breaths. Take that forearm down, go right onto the other side, reach that arm up and over, hips lift. Hand comes back, hands together, forearms down, hips are low. Start to walk the feet in, chin into the chest. Find that plank here. Bend into one knee, lower the other heel. Take it on to the other side. And then if you can, both heels down, 3 breaths. Bend your knees. Rest into a little child's pose for a moment, pushing your hands forward, head down. Take your hands together overhead, finding a little bit of a tricep stretch. Walk your hands forward, come back onto all fours, tuck the toes, come into that downward dog, reach that right leg up and hold. If you want, you can bend your knee here, circling the foot, or just staying in stillness. And you have options. Stay where you are, or let that foot drop behind you, open up. When you're ready, that right hand comes back to the mat. Bring that foot underneath you, holding the knee up. Lift the belly up. Turn the knee to the opposite arm. Slide it out. Lift up here. Hold. Hips up higher, holding that breath and releasing it evenly. And then take the hand down. Bring that knee back underneath you. Bring the foot up to the ceiling. And then bring that foot all the way forward into a pigeon. Wonderful stretch. Holding here, pushing up. Inhale. And then exhale, lower down. If it feels good to you, you can stay there or maybe even take it down into your head. And come back up. Walk your hands forward. Tuck that back toe, and we'll take it all the way onto the other side. So we'll come back into that downward dog. Opposite leg lifts. Option to bend it. Hold it here, pushing your chest through your arms. Feeling the big stretch in the back of the leg. Now again, you have an option to stay here or let that foot go over, hips lift up, reach up. Take that hand down to the mat, bring that knee forward, lift up an inch, use your belly and hold. Breathing. Take that knee over. Foot goes underneath you. Push down on that opposite foot and lift the hips, finding that nice opening. Unravel. Bring the leg back to the ceiling and then dive it straight through into that pigeon on the other side. Pushing up first, maybe you stay here, maybe you take it down, or maybe you bring it all the way down. When you're ready, come back up. We're going to take it back into that downward dog. Walk the feet out. Lift the right leg up. Bring that right foot forward. This time we're going to put the foot down completely. That back knee lands. Open up, reach the arms up to the ceiling. And then bring the hands into the chest, shifting your chest forward and holding here. Option to take your hands up And then maybe bend the elbows back, staying for 3 breaths. Hands come down, framing that front foot. We're going to bend that back leg, catching the foot with the opposite hand, looking down towards the ground and staying there. Releasing the back foot, pushing backwards. So now that front heel lifts. You're welcome to stay here if that's enough for the hamstring. Or maybe you want to come into that full stretching split, holding it up, pushing that back hip forward and the opposite hip back. Maybe you take it down and hold onto that front foot, let the head go. Coming back up, we'll work that front foot back into the position that we started with it in. Tuck the back toes, lift that back knee, reach the opposite arm up and turn. Getting that IT band stretch on the other side. Staying here for 3, 2, and 1. Coming back. We'll take the hands square off the foot, come back into that downward dog. Left leg reaches for the ceiling and come straight forward, letting that back knee lift. Reaching hands to the chest, relaxing that back toe, or maybe hands to the ceiling, falling forward, finding the hip flexor stretch. Elbows bend, chest is expanded, look up and stay there. Hands come down. We'll keep the hand with the leg that is behind you down. Reach back with the other hand. See if you can hook your hand onto that foot and gently pull for that quad stretch in the leg. Release. Shifting your way back. Find your hamstring stretch. If that's enough, stay here. If you want to take it into that split once more, see if you can. Wiggle your hips around. See if you can find even hips. And then you have that option to take it down into your full stretch. My right hip is lifted a little bit here, so it's something I need to work on. If you need to grab a block, if you have one nearby, that would also be helpful to put underneath your left hip. Shift it forward. Bend the angle of that foot back in between your wrists. Tuck your back toes. We'll lift that back knee. Arm reaches up and we dive down, getting the stretch on the outside of the hip there. It's one of my favorite stretches. Do it all the time in a stretch class. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand comes down. Take it back into that downward dog. And this time we're going to walk the feet forward. See if you can get your heels to touch the whole way. Bend at your knees, let your head go. Shaking yes and no. Maybe grab onto the backs of the legs and just hang there for 4, 3, 2. See if you can hold on to opposite elbows. If this is not accessible for you, you can have your hands on your legs. You can bend the knees as much as you need to. If you have that bind, see if you can start to bend the knees, releasing, and come all the way down. If that was way too much, just meet us in a seated position. No, that was a little intense. All right, from here, we're going to take it down onto our backs in just a moment. Before we get there, though, I want to take your hands back, hook one foot over, and see if you can take that foot into the pit of your elbow, and then the other, pulling that leg towards you. You can also bend this knee and give yourself a little rock. And then we'll place that down. We'll go ahead and take it onto the other side. So option 1 is here. Option 2, hook the arm. Option 3, lay that opposite leg down. Give yourself a little rock. Now we'll go ahead with this foot, place it over the knee, and take a twist. Take that knee, stack it, and lean forward. Coming back up, we'll take it to the other side, so we'll cross the opposite foot over, twisting to the other side. And then see if you can get knee over knee. Lean forward as much as you can and just hold it 30 breaths. All right, we're gonna come now. If you have knee issues, you might wanna just go straight onto your back. If you can, come onto wide knees, seated. Take your hands back behind you, so my feet are on the outside of my legs. And then see how far you can come back. Maybe you can come onto your forearms. If you wanted to stay here, maybe grab a pillow. You could lie back. Or maybe you can take your hands to your feet and come all the way to lie down. The more you push your feet and your knees into that mat, the more of a stretch you're going to feel on the tops of your hips and thighs. Holding here for 3 breaths. When you're ready to come out of it, bring one foot and then the other. We'll push your heels into the mat, lift your hips up. See if you can find your hands underneath. Walk those forearms underneath you. Sit down on your wrist for a moment. Letting your chest open. And now push into your feet, lift the hips. If you want to stay here, you can. Otherwise, take it into a full back bend, walking the feet forward towards you just a little bit. And then see how straight you can get the legs. Looking down at your hands. And once you're ready, 3 breaths are over. Place your back down. And take a little rock side to side. And then you can watch me first. I'm going to take a roll over and hold it there. Feet go over, knees drop. You can use your hands to help you. See if you can have your knees around your head and fold. Hands work as brakes. Feet push away. Lower down with control. All the way. Feet are over the hips. Take the legs wide. Knees bend. Pull the knees away from each other. Maybe grabbing the outsides of the feet. Come in for a little happy baby. And then bring the soles of the feet together, knees out wide, pull the feet in, push the knees away. Then I'm just going to kind of let my legs fall here. And I'll take my final 3 breaths in this position. If you want to go straight legs, if you want to do another twist, do whatever you want to do, and take 3 final breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Take your hands up, showing a sign of being able to receive and endure things not as a means to an end or gritting your teeth and bearing it, but finding ways to accept all the things of life and enduring them with as much peace and sense of calmness and serenity and acceptance as you possibly can, even when it's hard to do that. You can stay here for as long as you like. I'm going to come up, bringing my knees into my chest, giving myself a little rock up to a seated position like we started. And y'all are done. Thank you. I will see you next time. Bye.